There's an old adage that says, 99 days for the thief and 1 day for the owner. One of the biggest confessions has been exposed at the Madlanga Commission. Finally, General Khan has been nailed. Julius Malema has been nailed too. If General Khan is going down, then Malema is going down too, because those two criminals were working hand in hand. Today at the Madlanga Commission, their criminal links in the murder of Wiandre Pretorius have been exposed, and both Malema and Feroz Khan played a role. At this point, I'll say we've heard enough. Arrest them all. Dear viewers, welcome to today's podcast. If you think these criminals should be arrested, hit that like button and share this video with everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Type in the comment section, arrest them all, and let's jointly nail these criminals before they escape the law again. Jabulani, roll the clip.
Is the relationship between General Khan and the late Mr. Wiandre Pretorius? And Chair, you'll recall that we heard testimony from the late witness D that Mr. Pretorius was part of a gang that was essentially a criminal theft and extortion gang comprising several members of the EMPD. And in particular, witness D testified that Mr. Pretorius was part of the group responsible for torturing Mr. Emmanuel Mbense to death during one of the operations of this gang, and then suggested that they should call General Khan to fix it when they were debating what to do with the body of the man they had just killed. Now, if we go to page 1894, we see that General Khan in a chat with another person who is, and that we posts a happy birthday picture of himself next to a man who is in fact Mr. Pretorius. And we've identified Mr. Pretorius independently, but that in fact is confirmed by General Khan himself, because after some questions from his counterparty in this chat, which take a while to decode because they are full of, there's a big typo in the middle of them. The counterparty writes his che, and what he wants to say is who's that? He follows that with that, and if you go over the page to 1895, General Khan responds Wiandre. And the counterparty says, okay, cool, his birthday, and General Khan says, mine, bro. So, certainly by January 2021, Mr. Pretorius and General Khan were on birthday card greeting terms. Later that month, if we go to 3428, and here we may not want to display it publicly because this is the chat with the officer who was responsible for counterintelligence against the journalist Marianne Tam, and whose name we have not yet mentioned. If we go to the footer, page 3428, I don't know, Commissioners, if you see 3428, if you can get to 3428. Okay. In fact, we can display a redacted copy, which won't be a problem. Maybe I'm going too quickly here, and I should slow down, and everything should be fine. Sorry.
You can tell who the source was.
Solidarity on the Commission is breaking down, Chair.
Please continue, Mr. Shaskelson. Thank you.
Well, maybe if we can start at the top. The top, if we go one up, is the message that straddles 5963 and 5964, which was forwarded from Mr. Sayed at message time 101:31 on the 10th of June 2021. And what this is a deleted photograph of someone. And underneath it at the same time, there is a picture of an Operation Dudula banner or poster, which says we'll be removing all illegal foreign nationals by force, calls for a meeting in Dipkloof Hall on the 16th of June, and has the threat, if you're operating illegally, you better pack and leave before 16 June. If we go over to the next page, still at the same time, and one sees that the first four messages all have the same time, because they are in fact forwarded messages to General Khan from Mr. Sayed. He forwards, "Must I tell the General? Must be arrested tonight? Yes." So those are 5 messages that are forwarded messages with the same timestamp, and then Mr. Sayed explains from Juju. That's a message from Mr. Sayed to General Khan. And then what comes afterwards is another forwarded message which says, "Okay, done." So essentially what Mr. Sayed is communicating is that he has been asked by Mr. Malema to forward the first 5 messages to General Khan. Well, he's been asked by Mr. Malema to forward those messages to General Khan. He has, in the second last message with the timestamp 101:33, he explains to General Khan that it's from Mr. Malema, and then he forwards his response to Mr. Malema, which is, "Okay, done. I have forwarded these to the General." Now that takes place on the 10th of June. The very next day, if we go down to 5971, General Khan sends to Mr. Sayed draft questions for the Inspector General of Intelligence. And that is at 11th of June at message time 1:51:47. And again, we have a problem that we frequently had with these message times, that they're 2 hours out because they are UTC, not South African Standard Time. So the questions that General Khan has drafted are: convicted drug dealer and member in the agent program, and the name has been redacted, claims to be close friends with you. Is this true? 2, do you take instructions from this person, as he alleges he has a close relationship with you? 3, what gratification does the Inspector General of Intelligence enjoy from this person? 4, how long has the Inspector General been a captured public service servant of, and then that person? So these are draft questions that General Khan has prepared, which he is going to essentially ask Mr. Malema to arrange to be put to the Inspector General in Parliament through the EFF. If we go down to page 5975, and sorry, I just want to emphasize at that stage, General Khan is not dealing directly with Mr. Malema. He is sending messages to Mr. Sayed. But the channel is to Mr. Malema, whether Mr. Malema is aware of General Khan's motives or not. We see that because at 5975, Mr. Sayed sends back to General Khan questions that have now been formulated to the Minister of Police and to the Inspector General of Intelligence. And these questions, and in fact the name is not going to be redacted in these questions, I'm told the name's been mentioned publicly already. These questions that Mr. Sayed sends back read as follows. First, questions to Minister of Police, written reply. 1. Do you have any relationship with convicted drag lord? There's a misspelling of drug lord. Drag lord Tumi Marimutu. If so, what's its nature and does it include discussing crime intelligence matters? 2. Have you been in contact with Tumi Marimutu and discussed crime intelligence matters related to the Inspector General of Intelligence and the removal of General Jacobs as head of crime intelligence? 3. Have you had any discussions with convicted drug lord Tumi Marimutu regarding the supposed deal made by former President Jacob Zuma and Major General Feroz Khan that he will use state intelligence resources to ensure the election of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma as president of the ANC? If so, what security clearance did Tumi Marimutu attain to discuss crime intelligence matters with you as a minister? Those were the proposed questions to the Minister of Police, and the proposed questions to the Inspector General follow. 1. Do you have any relationship with convicted drug lord Tumi Marimutu? If so, what is its nature and does it include discussing matters relating to crime intelligence? 2. Have you had any discussions with Tumi Marimutu regarding the removal of General Peter Jacobs as head of crime intelligence? If so, what security clearance gives Tumi Marimutu access to you as the Inspector General of Intelligence, particularly as it relates to discussions of crime intelligence matters? Mr. Sayed explains below, Juju sent me now. General Khan's response is, excellent, bro. Let's go to war. When are they sending it to him? And what one sees in the exchanges that follow is what one often sees in WhatsApp exchanges, where people respond to a message while the writer of that message is writing another message. And so you get responses that don't respond to the immediately preceding message. You have to work out what they respond to. So Mr. Sayed says, are you happy with the questions? In other words, are you satisfied with these questions that Mr. Malema has sent me to be put to the Minister of Police and the Inspector General of Intelligence? But then, in response to General Khan's question, when are they sending it to him, Mr. Sayed says, let me ask. Now answering whether he's happy with the questions, General Khan says, yes, bro, and then says, this should get him to lie, and in return, we can ask for his removal because he lied. So what General Khan is disclosing here is that the purpose of these questions is not to establish whether the Inspector General has a relationship of any nature with Tumi Marimutu. Rather, it's to trap the Inspector General into lying in an answer to Parliament and then to use the fact that he will have lied to orchestrate his removal. Mr. Sayed is still responding to the previous inquiry of General Khan, which is when are they sending the questions? And he says at 65977 at 12 June 2021, 8:49, but I think it's been sent already. He then responds to General Khan's message saying, this will get him to lie and then we can get him removed. And he says, absolutely, he's going to deny it and then he's effed. Bye P ... And General Khan agrees with the abusive description of the Inspector General, says big P. Mr. Sayed then says, when is it going to be fired off to them? And what we see later is that this is in fact a message that he has sent to Mr. Malema, which he's now forwarding to General Khan. The response is tomorrow. General Khan says, they must fix up the spelling of drug in paragraph 1. In other words, Mr. Marumutu is a drug lord, not a drag lord. And he then, responding to when it's going to be fired off and tomorrow, he says, thanks, bro, much appreciated. And Mr. Sayed then sends a screenshot of his exchanges with Mr. Malema, which show that the formulation of the question to the Inspector General of Intelligence came from Mr. Malema. That's the top of the screenshot. Paragraph 2, have you had any discussions with Timmy Marumutu regarding the removal of General Peter Jacobs as head of crime intelligence? If so, what security clearance gives Timmy Marumutu access to you as the Inspector General of Intelligence, particularly as it relates to discussions of crime intelligence matters? In fact, Mr. Sayed, even before General Khan had picked up the drug lord problem, has already responded to Mr. Malema and said drug lord, not drag. And then Mr. Malema says the whole DR, I'm not sure what that relates to, but we then see a 2249 on the screenshot. If we go back up, 2249 is what we see at 2249 is when is it going to be fired off, and the answer comes tomorrow at 2258. If we go back up to 5977 and we add the 2 hours to the UTC times, we see that when is it going to be fired off to them, it's recorded as 8:58 p.m. You add the 2 hours, it's 10:58, and tomorrow 10:58 as well. So he has forwarded that exchange with Mr. Malema immediately that it happens, and has then, for good measure, added the screenshot. The next episode in this process takes place on the 13th of June. And it takes place, it's on page 5980. And there, maybe scroll down a bit before you. And there, Mr. Sayed forwards to General Khan a message about the progress of the questions. He says, Parliament will probably only process them on Monday, but they process them and then send to respective ministers and institutions. A week later, at 6002, we're now on the 20th of June. Mr. Sayed forwards to General Khan a screenshot from Mr. Malema. And what the screenshot shows is that Mr. Sayed asks Mr. Malema, brother, when are you back? Mr. Malema says, tomorrow. Mr. Sayed says, okay, let's meet tomorrow evening, please, with our general. Mr. Malema says, sharp, and there is an XAP response from Mr. Sayed. General Khan thanks Mr. Malema for setting up the meeting. So thanks Mr. Sayed for setting up the meeting with Mr. Malema. And Mr. Sayed says, you are my brew, no need to thank me. That is the 20th of June. Now, I want to clarify what our issue with that, there's actually a further step.